Dum 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 dum. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, Part 1 of 2. On January 3rd, raving Trumpster DAM was commenting about Donald Trump on our mutual friend RH's Facebook post. DAM insisted that his nonsensical, biased, and easily disproved opinions praising felon-in-chief Donald Trump were facts, and that anyone who did not see things his way obviously suffers from Trump Derangement Syndrome, aka TDS. Though I did not engage with them, I did have some interactions with AL, one of the more rational Trump supporters, concerning some of her pro-Trump comments. I shook my head over the vast majority of Dam's comments, but did not engage with him. I mean, what would be the point? Either one or both of us are so out of touch with reality that communication of any meaningful sort could not be achieved. I did, however, respond to Dam's statement to RH that said, I think your whole fixation on Trump and this so-called cult complex is irrational. Nobody cares, especially me. We had two choices to elect as our next president, and Trump's competency over Kamala idiocy is what caused the landslide. People had enough of Biden and the Communist Party. It wasn't the tenor of Dam's comment that caused me to respond. Every comment he made was slanted, bombastic, and pugilistic. It was his contention that Trump won by a landslide that prompted me to comment, what constitutes a landslide in your world? Are you comparing popular vote or electoral college results? Dam's response? Damning silence. Fast forward to January 5th, 2025, when I posted, the 2024 election was close based on the popular vote, which ain't how we decide winner v. loses in the good old US of A. I included this table of the 2024 results. 2024 election results. Candidate, Donald Trump. Party, Republican. Electoral votes, 312. Popular votes, 77,303,573. Candidate, Kamala Harris. Party, Democratic. Electoral votes, 226. Popular votes, 75,019,257. My comparison and contrast graph received nearly no attention, but did garner this question from VT, a friend and former employer. What do you think caused more people to vote Republican versus Democrat? My immediate glib response to VT was, Trump rigged the ballot boxes. I'll answer later. Got an appointment. Well, it's later, and VT is past due for reply. So, to quote Whitesnake, here I go again! January 8th, 2025, 1. Why did Kamala Harris lose the election? Let's begin with the abrupt change from Biden to Harris being the Democrats' candidate following the Biden-Trump debate. Following Biden's poor debate performance, complete with Joe's terrible optics, Joe Biden, who I respect immensely, was urged to not seek a second term. Content-wise, Biden's debate performance exceeded Trump's, but Biden's diminished capacity was on display, and it was obvious. Fearing a Trump win, many Democrats urged Biden to drop out. After saying he was in it to win it, Biden dropped out, which left the Democrats without a candidate selected via primary. As vice president, Harris was the obvious choice, but the optics of the deep state choosing Harris were horrid. Do I think the out with Joe, in with Kamala campaign was planned? Absolutely not. It did, however, leave Team Trump with fuel for their deep state fire, and it left a lot of Democrats or independent voters who didn't want Trump feeling as though our democratic system had been thwarted. Was it legal? Absolutely. Was it necessary? I'd say yes. Did it look good? Oh, hell no. And it absolutely played into the Trump deep state nonsense. 2. When The View's Sonny Hostin asked Ms. Harris, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the last 4 years? VPKH was given an open platform to differentiate herself from Biden's mistakes, whether his mistakes were perceived or actual. How did Harris respond? There is not a thing that comes to mind which was a hard answer. Plus, I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact, which showed Harris's willingness to take responsibility rather than putting all the blame on old Joe's shoulders. Harris had to know that in some form that question would be asked. Presented with an open-ended springboard question, her answer was a belly flop. She should have had examples where she praised his policies and examples where she, speaking in sorrow, not in anger, panned choices he made that proved ineffective or worse. Her catchphrase should have been, looking back, in hindsight, knowing now what we didn't know then, etc. She was given the chance to have her cake and eat it too, but rather than dining on Marie Antoinette's favorite starvation diet, she wound up covering herself in mud. You know Mud, the doctor who treated John Wilkes Booth after he assassinated Lincoln.